All right, good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. Let's get started here in just a second. We're going to start off with a really important chart that I think everyone needs to be aware of. You guys can hear me okay? Okay, perfect. All right. Very good. Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. Serge Berger here from thesteadytrader.com. Hope you all are doing well. We are going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes going through some of the top things on our notepad here. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you get updated in real time when we do analysis and market updates and podcasts. I've got a couple of really cool podcasts that are going to be released over the next 2 weeks that I think is going to be just tremendous. So that'll also come on the YouTube channel. Also, I do almost every day I do a YouTube short video that is typically either informational in terms of educational on the markets or in terms of strategy or sometimes even sort of an idea. And of course, in the YouTube channel under posts, which is it's almost like a little blog post, I update charts there as well. In fact, I'm going to go through one of them here with you guys in a minute. So let's first look at probably the most important chart that I can show you right now. Then we'll look at the S&P 500. We'll look at material stocks. We'll look at the dollar. We'll look at Roblox, OKLO. And then I want to quickly touch on what's going on over in Bitcoin and Ethereum land, because it is very much tied into the same liquidity trade that we're seeing. So let's start off with the most important chart. We are going to send out an email on this as well if you're on our email distribution list. If not, you may want to do that. If you're a client, that this chart will be in the Trade Ops members area soon. What you're looking at here at the top is the 30-year Treasury note yield, and at the bottom is essentially the S&P 500. And typically over the past couple of years, what we've seen is when the 30-year breaks marginally above 5%, is typically when the equity market starts to wobble a bit. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It doesn't have to be, a major crash in stocks or anything like that. It tends to mean that the equity market starts to have some sort of a setback or sort of consolidation period. So, I'm going to say anything between 5 and 10% is probably fair at this point. But again, that would be based on the 30-year actually going above 5% for more than just a tick, right? So if we see the 30-year go towards 5.08 or so, 09, which is where 5.1, which is where we were a couple of times, I would get a bit concerned about the equity market. And the equity market is frothy as it is from a breadth perspective. But I'm going to show you guys that next. So take this chart to heart. Again, if you're a client, I'll be posting this inside of Trade Ops as well. And I think an email goes out as well. So make sure you get on our email list if you're not on our email list yet. That's number one. The second thing is, let's just start off. Let's go to equities. Same chart that I've been showing for the past few days. I still think we are moving higher here within the context of what's called a rising wedge pattern. It's essentially this thing here. I'm just going to draw it for you guys again. And we had one take place into into last December. So again, none of this means that the equity market has to completely collapse, but it does mean that we're getting to a more narrow and narrower point here where the equity market, is going to have it more difficult to go higher. And I should just also point out, since, let's go back a year, since August, July here. So since, for the past 12 months, the S&P is now up 10%, right? So over the past 12 months, the S&P is now up 10%. So it's no longer making those leaps and bounds that it has for a long time. And I would also caution for those people that like to chase breakouts on the S&P, it typically mean reverts first. So if you're getting bullish equities now, just notice that every time we break out, we tend to check back to previous breakout, something like this or something like this, right? And I don't think it's that difficult to imagine that we're going to see it happening again here. So this is something that I would encourage everyone to be aware of, that this is kind of the dynamics. And again, this is all happening within a rising wedge pattern. Market breadth is laughably thin. It's all Max 7. In fact, it's basically mostly NVIDIA that's pushing the market higher and the other semiconductor stocks. The way to look at that is if you can see once again yesterday what was the factor exposure that essentially led the market higher. It was basically all the growthy part of things. So again, it's really not much has changed. It's just that the market is reacting less violently, which is why we also think the S&P is going to be a range bound. We're doing a state of the market update. I'm going to do it tomorrow live at 11 Eastern with some new updates. We did one earlier this week, and I've got some new updates I would like to pass on to you guys as well. So that's what's going on there. So I am, as I mentioned yesterday, I am more or less record hedged for my equity exposure. So basically, I have my long book of equities and stuff, but I'm very, very hedged. I'm basically market neutral at this point. So in fact, I'm probably going to be more than market neutral probably at some point today. So, I'm looking to pick up, if the S&P were to correct, 3, 4, 5%, I'm looking to hopefully make some really good coin. I've been selling a lot of stocks on the trading side. And so, I'm kind of thinking we have a 3 to 5% pullback initially. And that's the way I'm skewing the setup is if it happens, right, it's probably going to add 10% of gains to my portfolio on the trading portfolio if that happens. So I think it's an asymmetric setup. I think a lot of people are going to be very disappointed of what's going to happen going forward here. Again, it's not an end of the world call. I'm calling for a 5% pullback that can happen any day or any week. But the way I've got the asymmetry set up, I'm looking to make about 10 to maybe 15% on my portfolio on the trading account if that happens. So just as an FYI. Other point, just really quickly, I've been talking about the dollar a lot and how I said 2 weeks ago that I think there might be a rally. There has been a rally now. I actually closed my long dollar position yesterday. I was basically short the euro because I think it's had that move now. So I'm no longer exposed to that trade. It's been a really nice move. Basically this thing here. At this point, I don't really know what the dollar is going to do. Honestly, maybe it goes higher. I don't have an edge at this point. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that for anyone that might not care about that. Then I want to quickly talk about Roblox. Our daily video today is about that as well. I just want to quickly point this out here as well. The stock is essentially trading about 45% above its 200-day moving average, which is pretty much a record. This is I happen to really like Roblox. If you go back on the record and you see, I actually am really bullish Roblox, the company, in terms of what they do. I can't buy the stock up here. It's been one hell of a trend following trade. The rover completely, our momentum indicator completely nailed the move to the upside. So if you look at this, if you have the trender indicator, you would have gotten the buy signal on the 21st of April, And since then, Roblox is up basically 100%. So well done if you took that trade. That's the kind of stuff that you want to take advantage of. Quickly, OKLO. This is something for members. We're going to send out a trade alert to Market Rover members on this, but I just want to quickly point out that if you open up your Market Rovers, OKLO today has a fresh trend following buy signal. You will notice that the Market Rover has had this stock in a bullish trend since November of last year. The stock is now up 240%, and it's moving once again here pre-market. Again, we're going to send out a specific trade alert to Market Rover members here this morning. That's something else. That's another thing. Then XLB, which is material stocks. We are very, very bullish material stocks. What I want to point out here is a bit more sort of just the price action. This is the XLB ETF, and the red line on your screen here is the 200-day moving average. As you guys know, that's an oversimplification, but if the structural and sort of fundamental parts line up, I can actually get myself around using the 200-day as a reference point. So what you're looking at here is, support at the 200-day, support at the 200-day, then we slice right through it, then resistance at the 200-day, then resistance at the 200-day, then we slice right through it in the upside, and now we have support, okay? So if this pattern that's been in place for the past year and a half is going to continue, then I would imagine that XLB here should be able to hold support. We have a very bullish view on material stocks, not for today or tomorrow, but through a multi-quarter lens, probably a multi-year lens, to be honest with you. So I just want to point that out. So it's another freebie. Last but not least, I'm going to go right into our YouTube channel. I'm going to quickly show you something that I posted yesterday. I posted this in the members areas, but also I posted it on YouTube just because I think it's so important. I want people to kind of see a little bit what we do for our members as well. So let me quickly show you this here. Here is the YouTube channel, and if you go into posts, then what you'll find there is two lines that I posted yesterday. One of them is the catching up of Ethereum to gold and Bitcoin, actually outperforming. And the other one is actually the ratio of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So you guys go check those charts on the YouTube channel. What I'd like to show you though here quickly is kind of what that looks like. So essentially, we've talked about this last week, and I don't know how many people really care about this. Unless you want to make money, of course, you wouldn't care. But you've got three lines here. We've got the let me see here. Oh, this changed. Okay, so the Bitcoin is the blue line. And then we've got, actually, we need to add gold. Sorry, has changed. My apologies for that. Let me quickly add. There you go. Okay, so now, what you can see if you zoom in a bit closer on this is that Ethereum, which is this line here, oh God. Sorry, guys. I'm making a huge mess. I have to change the color. My apologies. Embarrassing. Okay. So you can see how the price of Ethereum has essentially exploded higher over the past few days, catching up to Bitcoin. That's what you're seeing here taking place. And, if you take the price of Ethereum and divide it by the price of Bitcoin, then you get this chart here. Let me show you this one quickly. This thing. So then you get this chart here. So this is the long-term price of a relationship of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Now, again, this can all be traded with ETFs, right? So I'm not a Bitcoin nut that just we just look at where there's something favorable setting up. This chart goes back to 2016, and you can see essentially we found very, very important support in terms of Ethereum's relative weakness versus Bitcoin. So we actually think Ethereum is going to outperform here going forward. And again, that's, if you want to look at that chart, go to the YouTube channel. And if you want to look at the price of Ethereum in absolute terms, and again, ETHA would be an ETF for that, then this is kind of what we see happening. And I think Ethereum at this point should go probably close to 4,000 is kind of what we're thinking, and ultimately can break out obviously in a meaningful way. So, that's kind of what we're looking at. If you want to look at this longer term, you make it a weekly chart, and you would see something like this. This is typically not a bearish pattern, but it could ultimately mean Ethereum goes way higher. But for right now, 4,000 or ETHA, you can use, again, it would be the ETF to take advantage of that. It's also Ticker Thursdays. So if you guys have any stocks you want to look at, type in a symbol that if you would like us to look. I'm happy to take a couple symbols here for you guys if you want. I'll give you a minute here to quickly type some in. So let me just quickly recap what we've done here. We've done a whole bunch of stuff, giving you an S&P update. We've looked at Roblox. We looked at XLB. We looked at OKLO. We looked at Roblox. Gave you an update on the dollar. And now, of course, the update here in the dollar on Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that's a hell of a lot of stuff here. Hopefully that's helpful for all of you guys. But if there's a ticker or two you would like me to look at, just type them in, and I'll be happy to entertain that for those of you that want. Also, we're doing a very important state of the market update today. So let me quickly show you the link for that. Give me just 1 second, and then we'll get to the tickers as well in just a second. Okay, so we're doing an important state of the market update. Actually, it's tomorrow, excuse me. I'm going to type it and put the link into the chat box. If you want to get our H2 second half of 2025 market roadmap and update and all that stuff, join us. It's totally free. We're going to spend 30 minutes going into much more detail about what our playbook is for the second half. So please join us for that if you'd like. It's the link again. I just posted the link into the chat box there. One ticker only. Okay, so everyone must be making a lot of money. So Pamela wants to look at LEU. Well, let's see. So LEU, let's follow it, right? So LEU through the longer term lens is obviously it's had a big move, right? So what I would look when I look at something like LEU, I want to make sure I know where does it stand in the short term and in the long term, right? So in the short term, Pamela, you can see we received a momentum buy signal on the 28th of April. So that signal remains intact. The stock is so far up 225%. So hopefully you've made a lot of money on this one, Pamela. One could have bought a call option, a call spread, or just the stock. At this point, there's a trailing stop in place. That trailing stop is currently at $185. That's this purple line. In the longer term, LEU, so from a trend following perspective, right, which is really where we want to focus on in terms of where is a stock in the big picture, it is a long-term bullish uptrend. So it's bullish trend. That's the green background color. You can see it had a bullish trend from October 2024 until March of this year. Then it went neutral, and then it became a buy again from a long-term perspective as well in April. And again, so far the stock is up 245%. Okay, so well done if you took advantage of that. Then Thomas wants to look at Alibaba. Alibaba, we are once again getting some bullish signals on KWeb. By the way, so we received, so you can see we're going back into a bullish trend. In terms of the short term, we use our trender indicator, and you can see there's no new buy signal yet. So momentum is not yet verified enough for it to become a buy. And then Jerry wants to look at Oracle. So Oracle remains in a bullish momentum move. So this is using the trender momentum indicator. Let's see, we received a buy signal on the 1st of May. That stock remains in a bullish trend, bullish momentum, up 65%, Jerry. The trailing stop is currently around $220. And in the longer term, Oracle, from a trending perspective, right, on the market rover, it's actually not yet bullish trend. And that's because the stock really hasn't done a hell of a lot, right? So it's just now, it's still neutral. So I personally, what that mostly means is that the stock is going to mean revert first before it maybe then goes higher. So from a long-term perspective, which I know you probably don't care about for this trade, just kind of gauging the vibe here. But from a short-term perspective, the momentum remains bullish. So hopefully that's been helpful, folks. Again, make sure you join us with our State of the Market update. That's going to take place tomorrow, July the 18th. At 11 o'clock Eastern. We've got a great update for you all. Second half of 2025 roadmap. And I also have a portfolio that we continue to beat the S&P with, and with much less volatility and way more diversification that we can show you guys there as well. So thank you all for being here. Again, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That way we can continue to do this show. Was this helpful today? I feel like we covered a lot of good stuff. Just give us a quick, give me a quick yes into the chat box if this was helpful today. And again, the link for this, the link for the webinar tomorrow, the State of the Market, it's just a State of the Market update, is in the chat box. I put it in the chat box there. So there we go. Cool. Yeah, please give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments here if this was helpful for today. And I appreciate you guys all being here. We will be back here Monday morning. But again, join us in the State of the Market tomorrow, 11 o'clock. We're going to go, here we only have 10 to 15 minutes in the morning call because we try to keep it snappy. On Friday, we're going to spend a good hour really going into the details of our roadmap for the second half of the year. And I think you guys will be surprised by some of the things that we're looking at. So thanks for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow in the State of the Market at 11 o'clock Eastern time. That's 8 a.m. Pacific. Thanks so much. Thank you guys. Much appreciate the comments. Thanks, Daily Trader. See you guys soon. And